Hi, everybody. My name is Joyce Mandel, and we are going to do a workshop today on happiness. And I'm so glad to see Chris is with me, as well as I see Natalie's also is with me. So let me just tell you what happiness is. Happiness is that feeling that comes when you know life is good and you can't help but smile. It is the opposite of sadness. Happiness is a sense of well being, joy, or contentment. When people are successful, safe, or lucky, they feel happiness. Okay, so when you have a great job, you're making money, you feel good, you feel safe, you feel happy. Okay, it's actually the opposite of feeling sad. And it's well, okay, so we'll just stop there for a second. So I have some questions to see, for you to answer about happiness. So we'll start with Chris. Number one, Chris, what season of the year are you the happiest and why?
Um, hmm, Probably summer. Lots of
Okay,
sunshine and
okay, and
getting
it's
out more.
right, right, and it's bright and
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
and it's warm, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of those
Right.
things. Okay. Um, Natalie, what holidays make you happy?
Um, well, I really like Thanksgiving and also New Year's.
You do?
Um,
Yes, that's
yeah,
interesting. Okay. And Thanksgiving, I understand. Why New Year's? Because it's the start of a new year, and
yeah, and also just I really like seeing the fireworks and also um, yeah, just the chance to start anew and a new
and
year.
help a new year. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And Thanksgiving makes you happy because you're with your family and friends, and okay. What
Yeah.
about you, Chris? What holidays make you happy? That's a good question.
Oh boy. Um, I don't know. I like I guess Christmas, the stereotypical one. Um, who doesn't like getting presents? Um, uh, and giving them too. That's always nice. Though sometimes I kind of dread like giving people presents and, are they gonna like what I got them?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
you get a
Well,
little anxious about that stuff, but I'd say mostly Christmas, and I guess maybe July 4th.
okay,
Um,
I like July 4th too. Why do you like July 4th? Like Natalie with the fireworks?
um, it's summer, fireworks, and just for me, it's like happiness is like feeling free,
Right,
and I
right,
kind of reevaluate you know uh, reevaluate like what freedom means to me, and also just this feeling of like being grateful for people that serve our country,
right, right,
to make sure that we have as close to freedom as we can.
right.
um,
So that makes you feel happy. Okay, okay. So what I'm going to have you guys do is, so I could see you, is I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think of a really happy place that you would like to go to right now and why you would like to go there. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to do that. And but don't fall asleep on me. My husband would fall asleep. Don't fall asleep. Okay. Okay. So we'll start with Chris. Where were you, and why did it make you happy?
um, Hawaii. I mean, I've never been there, but I just the beach and just just being somewhere that I haven't been before. New experiences can always be fun.
And it's warm.
Yes, again, need some warmth
So
and sunlight.
I think you should go back to Fort Lauderdale with my husband Michael, and I'll stay in Boston and then come to Pennsylvania. You'll get the sunshine and say, I don't want to go back. But yeah, that's interesting. Okay, and Natalie, what about you? Where were you when you closed your eyes?
I was thinking of, I was kind of thinking of a lot of places, but the first one was Spain and Salamanca. I went there for a 2 week study abroad
Oh,
in
cool.
my college year, and I remember the all the historic churches that we saw, and the parque that we went to, um, and also speaking their language, living in um, my
That made
host
you.
mother's house, and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
that sounds great. Well, that's someplace where you have to go back if you know what, if you feel happy there, definitely, right? Right. And if I close my eyes, I think the happiest place that I am, that I see is actually Key West in Florida because the Keys are great. They're fun. It's warm. It's the people in Key West are great. They're funny. We were at a bed and breakfast a couple of years back. We had the greatest time, and it really makes you could be like so sad, and you just it's just so much. I mean, you just can't help but smile because the guys that own the house, they're gay, and the guy, and so our toilet was broken, and and so he came up to fix the toilet, and then I went downstairs, and I said, "Wait a second, weren't you just up fixing my toilet, and now like you're a woman?" He said, "Oh yeah, that's my next gig. I have to go." So he was like changing costumes all the time. It was so fun. It really was. He said, "Oh, you gotta come over, Joyce, and bring Michael, and we dance and yeah." So we went to their club. Me, who doesn't even drink, was like dancing on the tables. We had such a great time.
Mhm.
So yeah, and that's like what happiness is. It just makes you kind of forget, and you're just in a good place, and you just smile, and it's just fun. Okay, so one more question. Let's see. Okay, so I know the answer to this with Natalie and Chris because it's about animals, so I'm not going to go there. Um, okay, Chris, what movies did you see that made you happy?
Oh gosh, that's a tough one. Um,
It could be a movie that you saw when you were a little boy
I'm
that you.
sure I like DT and like
Oh,
Ghostbusters.
loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. Okay, and why did that make you happy?
Um, I don't know, just like it took me away from like other things that made me unhappy. I think I was trying to avoid some, some family issues or
Okay,
something. I don't
maybe
know.
some homework or
But
something.
yeah, just like just they were just fun movies.
Yeah, yeah. I like Mary Poppins. I still
Nice.
I still sing supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. See, I still remember the words. I love that. I loved how she flew with the umbrella. I watched that. So I mean, I loved it. Okay, what about you, Natalie? What movie did you see that made you happy?
Um, the movie I was thinking of has been an animated film called Howl's Moving Castle, by Hayao Miyazaki, and it's just really beautiful. Like the scenery, like everything was hand drawn and animated, and also just the theme of how she experiences growth, like personally, and also like the themes of aging and greed and uh, gratefulness, and just like the feeling it gives. It was just like it took you away from anything that you
That you
were
were doing that was
experiencing.
making you, yeah, yeah. That okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right. Fill in the missing blank, and that's the last question. Okay, I am the most happy when, and Chris, I am the most
Um,
happy
at least
when.
recently, it's been when I've been gazing at the stars. just imagining like, what's out there
Okay.
besides like this vast void of nothingness. Like there are things out there, like, you know, I think when I'm being intellectually curious. Um,
That's when you're most happy. Yeah. Yeah. Do you do that a lot or is it
it's something that I started getting into recently. Trying to find myself a little bit more. Because I realized like a lot of stuff that I've been doing in the past is really to avoid who I am, or
okay?
um, so I'm trying to be like, okay, what do I like, and I also like playing video games. That usually makes me pretty happy too.
Good. Yeah, well, that takes you away too. It's like anything that takes you away. Exactly. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Natalie, what about you? I am the most happy when.
I often find that when I'm listening to music or playing music, I feel really happy and just creative. And I really like art and just doing things with my hands, I guess. And um, I've always liked doing that since I was young.
Wow. Okay. And is there a certain type of music that you like?
I like a lot of music, but I mean, I really like listening to like movie soundtracks
Yeah, so do I.
and also jazz.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah. Yeah.
calming.
Yeah. You would have loved when I went to school in Boston. They used to have like the coffee shops where all the people used to hang out and play. Yeah, yeah, play music. Well, what I was telling you, like with Harvard Square, that was so
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, because they
it's
were
really
all doing
cool.
it. Yeah, so cool. Chris, what music do you listen to that makes you happy?
Um, I like a lot of like well, I don't know if it makes me happy, but I really enjoy singer-songwriters. Um, uh, the people that write their own music. I tend to honestly gravitate towards more like um, sad music because I want to feel like sometimes like if you've experienced PTSD, like you can feel emotionally numb, and feel like you're not capable of
Capable.
feeling things.
Right, right.
Um, but I can feel sadness, and a lot of songs that really speak to me are the sadder songs. I
Really?
think like yeah, Susan Cain talks about that a little bit um, in her book Bittersweet. I think she was a big fan of Leonard Cohen. I think like there's a connection um, between being able to enjoy like like things, but also being connected to things that are also sad, and there doesn't have to be a disconnect. They're not necessarily polar opposites in my mind. Um,
Yeah.
but I do like R&B music. I listen to some rap music.
Oh, I
Listen
hate.
to jazz,
I like.
blues,
Yeah.
alternative.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I have eclectic tastes. I like listening to different things because it's important for us to be able to hear people being creative, and to see that because depending on what your mood is, like listening to eclectic tastes in music, like you can connect to the music based on like what you're feeling at that time.
Right, right. Oh yeah, definitely. Or sometimes when I'm in my Jeep and I'm, doing some errands and I hear, I'll put on the radio and I hear a song and I'm not really happy, but then the song takes me back to maybe
Yeah.
high school or when I went to BU and I thought, oh my God, I was with so and so, we were having such a good, and all of a sudden, like my sadness goes away and I'm just, because the song, just brings up such a great memory. Yeah, music is great. Yeah, definitely. All right. So next, we're going to move into this. Do you want to be happy? Well, you might have to give up 7 things. It is not what you have or who you are or where you are or what you are doing that makes you happy or unhappy. It is what you think about. Everyone really, I feel, wants to be happy. You can talk about how happy you want to be, but you do not ever seem to do anything about it. If you want to be happy, you don't need to add anything more in your life. You need to give some things up. Isn't that interesting? Okay, so wait before we think, okay, what is she talking about over here? All right, so what are you going to give up? Give up comparing yourself to others. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. There will always be someone smarter, better looking, and more successful than you, always. You can never win, so quit comparing yourself to others. It will not make you happy. Instead, focus on yourself. Focus on your strengths, the things that make you an amazing individual. Give up your need to impress others. This day you stop comparing yourself to others is the day you will become much happier. So I thought that was very interesting. So I grew up in a house with 2 sisters, and I know Natalie has a sister also. We were talking about this, and both of my sisters were smarter than me, prettier than me, went out all the time, dated. I don't know what to tell you. They were like past me in every way. I was still on the old jeans. They were like in all, every time a fashion came out, they would get together and I'd say, well, what about me? Oh, I don't think you'd be interested because you have, you would never wear it. Whatever. So I was like comparing myself to them like my whole life. And, to tell you the truth, I wasn't very happy doing that. So looking at it now, I'm thinking, that's kind of true because I'll never be like them. Or when I see people swimming and they're a better swimmer than me, oh my God, I wish I could swim like that. No, I should be grateful that I'm even in the pool swimming, and I can do it. So I guess it's, you have to give up comparing yourself to others. And there'll always be someone out there that maybe makes more money than you do or is smarter than you or maybe has a better partner than you have or do all these things. But that doesn't mean, you shouldn't dwell on that because that's not going to make you very happy. So, yeah, so I think you just have to stop comparing yourself to others. So, Chris, what do you think about that?
Oh no, I think it makes 100% 100% sense to me. Like one of
Okay.
the things that I've been trying to remind myself of is that uh, to try not to seek external validation because at the end of the day, like your opinion of yourself matters more because who else do you spend who do you spend the most time with?
Yourself.
So, um, so trying not to fall into that comparison trap, which I think we all can do that because I mean we live in a capitalistic society where competition you
Is
know
everything. Oh, in
figures
everything. Oh,
everything.
you're right. You're right. But if you look at it and say, you know what? I am, I may be not as pretty, but I'm pretty. I may not be as smart as Natalie, but I'm smart too. Do you know what I mean? So why am I
I
going to
do.
be so unhappy? Because I can't be a Natalie. I can't be a Chris. I can't be a Michael. I'm a Joyce, and that's who I have to be. And that's, you know, and I think if I knew this growing up with 2 sisters that really were just, oh my God, terrific. I mean, I might have had a different outlook, really. But it's something that you just learn, I think, when you get older, and you see it. Even my roommate from college, I would try to compare myself to her. But you know what? I saw at the end, I thought to myself, oh, she's not getting such good grades. I'm kind of a little smarter than she is, yeah, so you have to kind of give that up. And you're right. You have to validate yourself. You have to say that, you have to be a cheerleader. Like, forget it. You are the best. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to compare yourself to other people. Okay, so what are you going to give up? You're going to give up comparing yourself to others. You're going to give up negative people. You cannot expect to live a positive life if you hang out with negative people. We all have them in our lives. They are negative. They complain. They manipulate. You know who they are. Why are you spending time with them? Why are you allowing them to steal your happiness? If you spend time with negative and unhappy people, you will probably become negative and unhappy. If you spend time with positive and happy people, you have a higher probability of becoming positive and happy. Happy people know that who they surround themselves with can mean the difference between a happy life and a miserable life. So I think if there are any negative people in your life that are close to you that say, oh, Chris, you can't do it. Oh, Natalie, forget it. Don't even try that. You're not going to be able to do it. I really feel that they should be removed from your life. Now, is that an easy thing to do? No, because I'm still working on it. Okay. But you need people that are going to cheerlead for you. You need people that are going to smile, that are going to be positive, that are going to say, you know what, you can do it. You can be whoever you want to be. And you're a terrific person the way you are. And yeah, that's what you need. When I left, when I left BU and I moved to Miami, of course, because my roommate who married, Mitchell, who of course, okay. So, I became a special ed teacher. So when I left BU, I had two majors. Could have been an elementary teacher or a special ed teacher. I got a job as a special ed teacher, worked 10 years, didn't want to do it anymore, left. And I had my husband, Michael, thank God, who had a really good job, so I was able to leave. But do you know, three of my really best friends said to me, you will never get another job. Why are you even leaving? Who will hire you? What skills do you think you can have? And you know what? They made me negative. And I was
Mm-hmm.
unhappy anyway because I was trying to get a job. But then hearing it from them was even worse. So
Yeah.
they really left my life. I got rid of all three, and one came back in my life. I'm still trying to get rid of her, right? But the other two, no, I'm serious. I no, because they weren't supportive of me, and they were really said mean things. Nobody will ever hire you. You have no skills. You should go back to the classroom. I don't want to go back to the classroom. So
Yeah.
you have to surround yourself with positive people. So, Chris, do you have, not to get personal, if I am, just tell me and I'll not ask you, but are there negative people in your life that you think are stopping you from being happy? How's that?
I think there are definitely negative people, in my life, and I think like one of the things that you may touch on later is being mindful of your own negative thinking, because we can become our own. Well, most of us are our own worst critics, um,
Most of
and
us are.
so it's really hard too when you feel that way, and then you have like other people around you that like are, I don't want to say they're dealing with their own stuff, and oftentimes what happens when people are dealing with their own stuff is they project. They're projecting their negativity onto you, and just for myself, I'm trying to remind myself like uh, not to engage them as much when I am around them,
Okay.
because I mean I won't get in any detail, but when you engage them, then it just becomes you're not going to convince that person, and
Right.
especially like if they've had like a hard childhood or any trauma, like it's easy to be cynical. It takes like if we had an interaction, Joyce, and I did you wrong, or you perceived that I did you wrong in some way, it's going to take anywhere from 5 to 8 um, uh, positive interactions for you to consider that we're even.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, that's something that I picked up from Ryan Dowd, who
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he's he's great as far as I'm concerned, because it's a lot of the tools that I try and remember to use when I'm in situations at work that are particularly challenging, require me to be able to de-escalate situations from people
Right.
that
Right.
are
Right.
that are that brought their baggage along with them. So remembering not to take that stuff personal, has been
Yes,
helpful for me.
and that's hard to do. It's
It
really hard
is.
to do that. It really
Agreed.
is. Yeah, but you know what? It when you hear people, Chris, that are not saying, maybe bad things are going on in their life, but they're not giving you any positive
Right.
feedback. It doesn't make you happy. It makes you
No.
sad. I mean, you're sad for them anyway that they happen to go through with it. But you know what? Don't do that to me.
Right.
I can feel for you, but I don't want to feel like you. Oh, that was good. I
Right.
just thought about that. You know what I mean? I mean,
You should
you can,
write that down.
yeah, I just thought about that. You can have empathy for somebody,
Right.
and I can
Right.
feel bad for my husband Michael because he lost his dad when he was 16 and he went through such a hard time with that. But don't make me feel bad that I still have my dad and I have this great
Right.
relationship with him. You see what I mean? So
Right.
yeah. So yeah. But if somebody,
Boundaries.
yeah. If somebody's consistently negative, they are going to make you feel negative. They could be negative, but they don't have to do that to you. Do you know
Right.
what I mean? Yeah,
Right.
there's like a line there. Okay, so we're talking about what are you going to give up? Give up on your fears. Where fear is happiness cannot be found. Fear has the ability to take control of your life. It keeps you from doing things that can kill you. It also prevents you from doing things that make you successful. We all have fears. Okay, and listen to this. There is a fear of happiness, and it is called cherry phobia. This is me to a T. Okay, I finally found a fear that is me to a T. Cherry phobia is the fear of happiness or an aversion to happiness. There are four major reasons why cherry phobes fear happiness. They fear that being happy will cause bad things to happen. They fear happiness will make them a bad person. They fear that expressing happiness is bad for them and others. They fear that pursuing happiness is bad for them and others. Fear and happiness cannot exist at the same time. So fear becomes a problem if it is keeping you from being happy. And you need to take steps to reduce your fear. Let yourself feel happy, learn to enjoy a beautiful day, enjoy being with friends and family. And once you start being happy with the little things in your life, you will see that you have nothing to fear and you will allow yourself more happiness. And just to break the power of fear, and you'll begin to live a happier life. So, okay, so as a cherry phobia person, I would say, oh my God, I'm so excited. Somebody's hired me for 3 more workshops and I love Boston and I'm so happy with Michael and I'm so excited tomorrow because I'm going to this gorgeous park in Boston. And then I think of all the other things in my life that I'm afraid of. And, and then that takes away all the good things that I just said. And I start thinking about those and I'm not very happy anymore. That's a cherry phobia. Okay. Or I mean, I'm thinking of all these great things and I'm in my Jeep and I'm afraid to go over the intercoastal by my building. But if I don't go over the intercoastal, I'll never get to where I have to go. And I'm afraid of that. And once I hit that, I'm not happy anymore. I feel panicky. I feel sad. It's a fear. If I have to, and you just have to work on that. So, I just think that that is so interesting that you can have all these great things going on in your life, but if you're fearful, it could take away all those happy things. Right. And I thought that was interesting. I never heard of a cherry phobia until I started doing research. And I said, oh, that's me. That's me to a T. So, Chris, what do you think about that?
I think that that makes sense. I mean, I know that if fear runs your life, like it's very difficult because you're not willing to try new things that may make you happy. And I know like something that I struggle with is like things that I am afraid of. Like I may seek them out, but it's like seeking them out as a last resort. Like I'm so I mean, I don't like heights, so it's hard for me to be around like even heights that aren't very high, like in retrospect, but they seem high at the time. Um, can because when you're in a panic, like all you can think about is being in a panic. You're not really thinking rational at that point.
I know, and you're not
Um,
happy because you're thinking that you're going to get up there and you're going to fall down, and that's not going to make you
exactly.
right. Right. So to
And
get
you
over
miss
that,
out on like all you could miss out on all these. Sorry for talking
yeah,
over you. You can miss out on all of these like beautiful things, like beautiful vistas and things along those lines because you're not willing to go there because you're afraid that you're going to fall or what have you.
no, my God, you just said the words. I have always wanted to ski. Always. I would be a great skier. I have great endurance. I swim. I used to run. I love sports. I love the cold. You know, I love the cold. I don't want to go back to Fort Lauderdale. And I am afraid of height. And that fear has kept me from going skiing with Michael forever. Okay. So I'm happy, with a lot of other things. But when I think about that, that kind of makes me, kind of scared, and I'm fearful to do it, and once that fear walks, yeah. So I'm the same way. I'm afraid of heights too. I am. I am. I quit my job at Toys R Us because I couldn't climb the ladder to get the toys because I was afraid to go up. And my boss would say, "No, just go up." And when I went up, I said, "Oh God, I'm up." And I said, "Oh my God, how am I going to get down?" And then I was so scared of right, and I loved my job, but I panicked when I had to go up because I was afraid of the fear kept me from being happy. Yeah. So, Natalie, what about you? Cherry phobia, any kind of fears?
Um, Actually, I was just thinking about that more, and I mean, I also had like a fear of heights when I was little, and also um, before I started some diving lessons, I also I had fears of that, but then I got over that, and it was a enjoyable experience. And
So, how did you get over that? You just started
um,
diving.
yeah, I just started diving and just realized that um, nothing terrible happened. It was actually nice to be in the water and
And right. And then
see.
that kind of made you happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
does.
Okay. So, let me just go back here really fast. Okay. So, what are you going to give up? Uh, okay, and I still want to call you Steve, Chris. Okay, so Chris, you had said before negative self-talk. Remember, you had said you're going to touch on that. Okay, never give a negative thought an inch, or you will take a mile. So you have to give up on negative self-talk. Negative self-talk will never lead to happiness. If you want to be happy, you need to get rid of negative self-talk. Change your thinking and turn negative thought into something positive. Don't say, "I will never be successful." Say, "I will find a way to make this work." "I can't do this." Say, "I could learn to do this." Like Natalie with the diving. She didn't think she could do it, but she learned to do it. Okay. I didn't think I could get over that bridge, but I did it because I knew I had to get to work, and there was a tunnel, and I'm afraid of tunnels. So I figured the bridge was better than the tunnel. I'm serious.
Right.
I can't do that. Okay, this is impossible. And like Natalie said with the diving, I'll give it a try. Okay, you see the difference there? You can change the way you talk about yourself. Learn to be kind and encouraging to yourself. Okay, and that's what you said, Chris. Okay, start by not saying anything to yourself that you would not say to your best friend. That's a great line. Okay, yeah. So I was just doing this in a job search workshop to build confidence. And the thing to build confidence is your inner self critic that says, "I can find a job." Well, of course you could find a job. You just haven't found a job yet, but you will find a job. Don't say that. If you're going to think that, you're not going to do it. If Natalie's going to think she can't dive, she's not going to do it. If I think I can't get over that bridge, I can't do it. And I have been under the tunnel shaking, but I do that. I know I can do that. So you have to give it a try. You have to get rid of what your inner self critic is saying onto you, and that's really hard to do. But even if you have to talk to yourself, say, "You know what? I can do it. I know I can do it." Um, and that's really important. So negative talk will never lead to happiness. It will just lead to you to be a very negative person. Okay? Okay. So another thing to give up when you're happy, to give up to be happy, is to give up on your past. Just because someone screwed up your past does not mean you should give them permission to screw up your future. Isn't that good? I think that's really good. Okay, we all have a past. It can be filled with good experiences or it can be filled with a bunch of negative stuff that's making you unhappy. If you don't want your future to look like your past, you have to let go of the baggage that is holding you back. Let go of the negative people, of the negative thoughts. And once you do that, a huge weight will be lifted off your shoulders. You will feel lighter. You'll finally be able to be happy. And, and don't forget that life is a journey and not a destination. And remember, the past maybe looks better than your present, but the present is all you have. And the moment is the future that you've always dreamed of. I really like that. I think that's good. Okay. So you have to, you have to kind of get rid of things in your past maybe that made you unhappy, because now you're in the present and you don't want to bring that baggage to the present, and then you certainly don't want to bring it to the future, because the future hopefully will look better than both. Is that easy? No. Do a lot of people take the baggage from the past? Absolutely. And they put it in the present, and then you're just as unhappy as you were in the past because you're bringing the same baggage to the present, and then in the future you're unhappy because the baggage you brought to the present you're bringing to the future. You see what I mean? And that's not going to make you happy. It's going to make you sad. So any thoughts about that, Chris? Or
I think that makes sense. I mean, I think to your point, it is easier said than done. But it doesn't mean that it is impossible to do. Uh, we know, like psychiatry and or psychology, like there have been studies that you're able to rewire the way that you think, um, and so you can. I think like being mindful. So it sounds like just being present and focusing on the good things is something that can help you get a step closer to happiness.
right,
Um, and as someone that has PTSD, uh, that can be a struggle sometimes to uh, to get rid of that baggage. But you have to be self aware too, and like ask yourself, be intellectually curious. Where is this coming from?
right.
Where's the evidence to support whatever conclusion that you're coming from? And then just trying to focus on actually being self-aware, so realize like when you are happy, right? And then when you realize this is something that makes me happy, like that's something that you can use to not fixate on the past, because that's really what we're talking
Right,
about, right?
right,
um
right, right.
so
No, you're
just my
right.
2 cents.
No, I think that's smart. And you fixate on the things that are, that are present, that you're so grateful for, that you're happy about, that, believe it or not, that you get up in the morning, right? And you're able to get
Right.
out of bed. I'm serious. And that you're able to talk and walk and, maybe
See.
communicate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that you're interested, and you see another day, or you see the stars, or you see another sunset, or every day that I'm in Boston, I'm just so grateful to be here. It just makes me happy. Even when I walk in the fog and the rain and the drizzle, I say, you are so lucky. You are just so lucky that you got up this morning, with my husband, and that you're able to walk to the gym to swim. I mean, how many people can live in two places and do this? So that makes me happy. But then, sometimes I have like all these fears again, if somebody in my lane, that they're going to back into me, all these, and that kind of stuffs my happiness. Okay. So, it's okay. So Another thing to give up is living other people's dreams. Way too many people spend their lives living other people's dreams. They are living the dreams of their parents or the dreams of their friends or even the dreams of someone that's close to them. They are trying to live up to other people's dreams for their life. They're not living their own life. They don't know what makes them happy, what they want, what they need. So it's your life. And if somebody has a dream for your life and you don't want to do it, well, you can't do it or you're not going to be happy. Okay. So when I was in college, my parents wanted me to be a nurse. I knew I didn't want to be a nurse. I went into Mass General and I passed out when they brought somebody into the ER. They went my nursing career in 2 minutes. Okay. So I was kind of living this kind of dream that this is what my parents wanted me to do. And I really didn't want to do it. So this just made me see more that I didn't want to do it. But you have to live, you have to dream for yourself. It has to be your dream. It can't be anybody else's dream. And you can't live their dreams because that doesn't mean that maybe it'll make them happy and it's not necessarily going to make you happy. Does that make sense? Natalie,
It
what do you think?
does.
Yeah. Chris? No. What do you think?
I think that ultimately what ends up happening is then resentment. Like
Yeah.
you resent people for forcing you into a life that you didn't want. Um, and the insistence oftentimes can lead to prolonged anger and frustration. And I like to say there that feeling angry or feeling sad, those are emotions. So they're not negative emotions. We
Just
as human
everything.
beings, we tie negativity to those emotions, but
Right. 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 Right.
they're just emotions. How we respond to those emotions,
Right.
um, is that healthy or is it unhealthy?
Right.
And then really focusing on that, because anger is really something. I read this, it kind of spoke to me. Anger is an emotion of that expresses unmet needs. Um, and so it's okay to feel angry or upset about things. You just obviously you don't want to make your home there. You don't want to.
Right.
You
You
don't
want
want
to.
to. You don't want to break out your best cover and your bed and just sleep there forever.
Right.
You
Right.
acknowledge the feelings. Identify the feelings, acknowledge them, but not again. Don't fixate on them.
Right.
Sometimes just you can just let those emotions, like after you identify them, just kind of let them swim by, and then go from there.
No, you're right. Because if you focus on them and they don't swim by you, they're going to overtake you and you're not going to be happy. You're exactly right. Yeah, that was very good. Yeah, yeah, 100%. All right. Another thing you might have to give up is give up on seeking the approval of others. We all want to be liked, but too many of us are living our lives based on the approval of others. We spend our lives trying to please others by living up to their expectations, again, their dreams. So you don't want the approval. Hey, if you get the approval of others, that's great. If somebody says, "Oh my God, you're doing a great job," blah blah blah, that's great. But um, you know, don't seek it because you need to feel the approval within yourself. That's the most important part. Am I right? You have,
Amen.
right? You have to feel that you're doing a great job. It's the
Sure.
approval within you. And that would make you happy rather than looking for the approval with other people. Okay.
Sorry,
And
I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking of something. So I usually dress up, and people will say like, "Oh, you look amazing. You look great." Whatever. Like they compliment me on my outfit, and I used to say thank you, and it's not that I'm not grateful, but I've just started because again, I don't need their validation, generally
right,
speaking, on
right,
that. Like that's one thing I'm confident in, is that I can dress very well. So I just
right.
start saying thank you. I know, and then just
But that's
I kind of
great.
flummox.
Because you feel that way. You don't need
Right,
them to say that to you. Right,
right,
right, right, right. Because you feel that, you know what? I know I look great. So you don't need, right, right. And you're, and you, no, but I think that's great. And you feel happy about that. you know? So, it's all about you feeling good, and it's all about, and listen to this, an amazing thing happens when you stop seeking approval and validation. You find it. Isn't that good? I like that. An amazing thing. Yeah. And I think if you seek the approval of yourself, Chris, like what you said, you will find happiness within yourself. It's like somebody said to me, I don't remember who it was, somebody in Fort Lauderdale in my building. She says, you would look much better with straight hair. I said, really? You think so? She said, yeah. I said, well, you know what? I don't think so. I love my curly hair. I think I look great. Now, do I think I look great? Really, I don't. But, I say that to her because, and straight hair, really? With 100% humidity? You know what I would look like? Oh my God. And that's like not me. I've been curly forever. So you know what? I wasn't seeking, I didn't even ask her for that. But you don't
Right.
have to seek the approval. You need to feel it. And that's where the happiness comes from. All right, so I'm just
Yeah.
gonna really go over this, just name this really quick so you guys remember it. Okay, so what are you gonna give up? Give up comparing yourself to others, give up negative people, give up your fears, give up negative self-talk, give up on your past, give up on living other people's dreams, seeking the approval of others. Okay, so I'm looking at the time. Okay, I have some quotes that I wanted to read too that I think are great. But all right, but I want to touch on this too. 6 ways happiness is good for your health. Okay. Happiness and good health go hand in hand. This is so interesting. Scientific studies have been finding that happiness can make our hearts healthier, our immune system stronger, and we can live longer lives. Isn't that interesting? So, most people that are not happy and are lonely. Oh, right. Happiness and good health are both in a relationship that is worth seeking for your stronger being. And here are some reasons why happiness is a great motivator for your health. Happiness protects your heart. A study found that happiness predicts lower heart rate and blood pressure. It also uncovered a link between happiness and another measure of heart health, heart rate variability, which refers to the time interval between heartbeats and is associated with the risk for various diseases. The participants who rated themselves as happiness on the day that their hearts were tested had a healthier pattern of heart variability on that day. So I thought that that was really interesting. Happiness strengthens your immune system. There is a very definite link between happiness and a stronger immune system. If you are happy and you are finding yourself in good, healthy relationship, chances are you will get fewer illnesses and you will stay healthy. Um, this is due to the fact that you are happy and feeling good about yourself and life in general. Your immune system will work with you and protect you. I kind of thought about that when I was doing this. I had just finished this when COVID came out, and I thought a lot of those people that died, I'm sure they were very happy. The vaccine just wasn't out yet. You know what I mean? I don't know how much that played a part in it, but I'm thinking for colds, not so much for diseases that are, terrible, but it just, I think that if your whole system, if you feel happy, you're not going to get as many colds. You're not going to um, feel bad. You're going to feel good about yourself. You're going to feel that you want to eat, you want to exercise, because you're happy. It's just something that you want to do. Happiness combats stress. Stress is not only upsetting on a psychological level, but also triggers biological changes, in our hormones and blood pressure. Happiness seems to change these effects and help us to recover more quickly. And of course, you could be stressed out, but if you are happy and have a positive attitude, your stress level will come down and you will not feel as bad. You will be able to cope better with your problems. And I think that's really true. I think you could be really stressed out, but I think if you're a happier person, I think you recover quicker. Because you get to see the good things. Okay, so this is not going good, but there are so many other things in my life that are going well. That I'm happy about. And is that stress still there? Yeah, I think everybody goes through stress every day, but I think if you're a happier person, it kind of balances it out and it doesn't make it so overwhelming. um And happy people have fewer aches and pains. Unhappiness can be painful in so many ways. There was a study completed that people who had the most aches and pains were not very content in their life. The people that were happier and more positive seemed to have less pains, were able to cope more with this. Their positive energy came through and they felt better than the people with the negative energy who were unhappy. So, if you meet like, people that have maybe older people that have this is going on or this is going on or this is going on, they're not very happy. But maybe if they had something to feel good about, maybe they wouldn't dwell so much on the pains and the aches and everything else. Maybe they would dwell more on feeling feeling positive and feeling happy. I just think it has a lot to do with the way you feel. I think if you feel negative, you will find the aches and pains. But if you feel happy, the aches and pains might be there, but you're able to deal with them more. Does that make sense? It does. Natalie, you want to say something about that? Because I see you're nodding your head.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that um, just that, like when I was also reading about um, a story of a psychologist who was a Holocaust concentration camp survivor, and he was talking about how he, tried to have hope,
Can you
despite all
imagine?
the horrible circumstances, and um, just having that hope. I mean, he did have, a lot of aches, pains, mentally and physically, but concentrating on, the,
That
some plants that were outside or something, um,
gave
with
him
the stars, and made him happier.
or maybe memories of before they were taken to Auschwitz or Bergen-Belsen or Dachau, memories of when he was a little boy or she was a little girl, of good times. That those were happy times. So many of the
Mm-hmm.
people in concentration camps really focused on that, and that's really a lot of what got them through. You're right. And that was such a bad time. I don't know if I ever would have survived that. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
honestly don't know. Yeah, because that was so horrible. But that's how a lot of people. You were right. Somebody wrote a book about that. I read it in high school. He was terrific, and he was a survivor. And that's what he said. When I thought about the happy times in my childhood and about Passover and Rosh Hashanah and all the really gleeful Hanukkah, all the great Jewish holidays that I had with my family, it gave me hope that I would get out of this I don't even know what you want to call it, this horrible place. But yeah, and without hope, you have nothing. You know what I mean? If you
Mm-hmm.
don't have that kind of hope, yeah, yeah. All right. Happiness lengthens our lives. Researchers truly believe that being a positive person and being happy with your life can lead to a longer lifespan. Happiness does influence your health, and a happier you will be, a healthier you. But, and every day is not going to be happy. But if you could just incorporate that in some way and make that part of your day, I truly think it can help you and it can make you just more positive and feel better about life and just feel happier. But I know we're running out of time, but I have some quotes. So I want to go with just um, some motivational quotes about happiness. Um, okay. Ralph Waldo Emerson: for every minute you are angry, you lose 60 seconds of happiness. Um, Another one: love is that condition in which happiness of another person is essential to your own. Ernest Hemingway: happiness in intelligent people is the rarest thing I know. There's nothing like a deep breath after laughing that hard. Nothing in the world like a sore stomach for the right reasons. Okay, let's see more. Oh, this is great. Happiness is a warm puppy. You know who said that? Charles Schultz with the Peanuts, right? Um, you will never be happy if you continue to search for what happiness consists of. You will never live if you are looking for the meaning of life. Mark Twain. Sanity and happiness are an impossible combination. I like that one too.
Mhm.
Um, let me see. Let's see if I see it. Learn to value yourself, which means fight for your happiness. Mark Twain. The best way to cheer yourself is to try to cheer someone else up. Is that great? I love that. That's so that's such a great line. The best way to cheer yourself is to try to cheer. Yeah. So if you're feeling really sad and somebody else is feeling sad and you try to cheer them up, well, you know what? You're going to feel better and you're going to feel happier. I think that's a great quote. Um, and this is my husband's favorite book, The Count of Monte Cristo. I am not proud, but I am happy, and happiness blinds, I think, more than pride. I must learn to be content with being happier than I deserve. And Aristotle, happiness depends upon ourselves. And now and then it's good to pause in our pursuit of happiness and just be happy. So, and then I have a lot of, I don't know, I'm running out of time here, but I have a lot of good books too about happiness. And this is really good too. Um, Okay. Can I go a little longer, Natalie? Just a little bit? Okay. What
Yeah.
are the habits of incredibly happy people? So if you see somebody that's really happy, why are they really happy? Okay. Because they think they're busy, they're not rushed, they have close relationships, they're proactive about relationships, um, they move beyond the small talk, they treat themselves to small pleasures, and they plan, fun, and laugh. I mean, it's so important to laugh and it's so important to have fun. I mean, I've been married to the same person forever, and there's one thing I can tell you is I laugh a lot. I mean, yeah, and I really do make Michael laugh. He doesn't really laugh as much as I laugh, but I get him to laugh. I mean, and we really have fun. I mean, it's so important to have fun, even when things aren't going our way, which happens. We still have fun and we still manage to laugh about it. And if you laugh and you have fun, it just changes your whole perspective. Show some appreciation, observe happiness in others. And another one, which is great, is to exercise. So, incredibly happy people, hey, exercise. And I think that is so important because I do that every day. It's really important to just get your mind into a different atmosphere and it makes you feel so much better. And aim people that are incredibly happy, they aim high and they have goals and they have objectives and they work every day to try to get to those goals and objectives, and because goals add a sense of meaning, direction, and focus to life. And if you can get to those goals, you just will feel happy. And when you're moving and doing, I just think you're a happier person. I'm not saying you have to really rush, but you know what? If you're busy, you're happier too. I was just talking about this to somebody in the gym the other day too. She says, "Oh my God, Joyce, you're so busy." I said, "Well, you know what? Being busy makes me happy. It's just, it moves you along, and you don't have time to really feel sad." So anyway, Chris, your opinion? Would you like to say something? I'm so glad you were here.
I just want to add one more thing
Oh, of course.
to the list of
Incredibly happy
things
people.
to avoid.
Oh,
Things
okay.
to avoid. Perfectionism. Like avoid trying to be perfect. And
Oh,
accept the fact that you're an imperfect human being. We all have flaws. We're just doing the best that we can. Um, I have been at my most unhappiest uh,
yeah.
when I've been pursuing perfectionism. When I let that go and just realize I'm going to do the best that I can, and whatever comes from it. Um, that has made me feel better about uh, you know where I am in life, and also
Okay.
like not fixating on the future. Like this is where I expect it to be. I guess that might go back to the comparison of others. Like not fixating on where you expect it to be, but accepting where you are at this current moment. I think
Right. Right.
can be very helpful too.
Right. And being grateful for where you are at this moment. That's the whole thing. You know what I mean? And not taking your baggage from your past and bringing it to your present. Be happy with the present and then be
Right.
happier even with the future, you know? But thank you, Chris, for being
Thank you.
here. Yeah, I really
Appreciate you.
appreciate. I appreciate you too. You were terrific. I could spend another hour with you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for being here. And of course, with you too, Miss Natalie. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
having me. I
Yeah,
really
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you, Chris, as well, and for coming.
Thank you.